Hey everyone, Boardgame Brody here with Meeple Mountain. I was sent a prototype copy of Lions of Lydia, a new title from Bellwether Games. Lions of Lydia is a bag management engine building game. The Kingdom of Lydia has minted the world's first coin from gold and silver found in the river Pactolus. Traders can now use currency as a dominant form of exchange. Players play as aristocrats, hiring merchants to go down to the city gates and to increase their land holdings. Lydian merchants will also arrive in the capital where you can gain access to the Lydian lion coins needed to establish valuable retail property. Manage your merchants by keeping the best assortment in your bag while also leveraging their abilities when drawn. Let's set up the game. The city board is placed out center of the table with 4 wooden gates placed on each corner matching their color on the board. Place the fountain tile in the center of the board. Each player will take a resource board and one set of 4 different resource tokens and then 1 influence token. Place these tokens on the left side of the board matching each symbol with each other. Each player will also start with a property card that matches the resource shown on the bottom right corner of their player board. Property cards are separated into 3 decks, gray, gold, and purple, and then shuffled with each other. 2 purple, 1 gold, and 3 gray cards are dealt out to each side of the board. Make sure that the developed side is face down. This star symbol here indicates that it has been developed. 1 gold Lydian merchant is then placed on each gold card. Randomly place a blue, green, red, or yellow merchant on each gate so that each gate has exactly 1 non-matching merchant with its gate color. Also place a blue, green, red, and yellow merchant at the fountain. Each player will then take a blue, green, red, and yellow merchant for themselves and place it in their bag. Lastly, each player should place a Lydian merchant on the space to the right of the influence token on their player board. Coins are left within reach of all players, and it is now time to start playing the game. A turn will consist of drawing 1 merchant randomly from your bag, placing it either at one of the 4 gates or at the fountain, and taking the actions for that space. Then the player ends their turn by selecting a merchant from the fountain and adding it into their bag. You will always have just 4 merchants at a time in your bag. When taking the gate action, you will be placing a merchant that you drew and placing it by one of the wooden gates. You will then check all your property cards that you own, and you will check for any listed merchant color that matches the colored gate of the merchant that you just placed on the board. You will then take the bonus by sliding that resource marker to the right, the number shown on that card. As the game goes on, you will be collecting more and more of these cards, and you will be getting great property bonuses. You will then take the main gate action by advancing your resource tokens the number of colors as merchants and gates in that location. For example, if you place this red merchant at this red gate, you would increase your cattle by 3, 2 for having 2 red merchants there and 1 for having a red gate, and then 1 yellow merchant will give you 1 wheat. If you placed a Lydian merchant, or if there was one present at the gate that you chose, you can also exchange the resource type that matches the gate for coins at a 1-to-1 ratio. If you choose to trade for coins, then you must trade all of that resource type for as many coins as you can. You can never have more than 6 of each resource on your player board, and you can never have more than 12 coins. In this example, I will exchange 4 cattle for 4 coins. The last step in the gate action is done by examining the gate. If 2 merchants are present of the same color, both are sent to the fountain. So here I will be moving these 2 red into the fountain. Instead of taking the gate action, then when you are prepared in the game, you can take the fountain actions. You do this action by first buying property. You can buy or purchase cards from only one side of the board. The cost of each card is shown on the top. To purchase, you will reduce your resources by the number shown, 1 per resource symbol, and place the card near your player board. At this point, make sure that the card is on the developed side down, star side down. You can produce as many cards as you have resources, but only from one side of the board. And your total number of properties can never exceed the property maximum shown on your influence track. That's this track down here on the bottom of your player board. You start with a maximum of 3, then 5, then 8, then any number you would like. If you purchased a gold card, then you will immediately move that Lydian merchant from the card and place it in the fountain. The other action that you can do is you can develop your properties. So to do this, you will pay the same cost that you did to buy it, and you will flip that card over to the develop side so that the star is faced up. So really, to get a developed property, you need to pay its cost twice. First to buy it from the table, and then again to develop it. Again, coins are considered wild and can be used in place of any resource. 1 coin equals 1 of any resource. Use these when buying or developing your properties. Developed properties will give you more points and also enhance your bonus in some way or another. Gray and gold properties will give you bonuses revolved around resources, while the purple cards will award victory points at the end of the game. For example, this gray card here costs 2 yellow and 1 green resource, and its bonus is when you use a yellow merchant and you place it on a yellow or a green gate, then it'll produce a yellow resource for you. And this card gives you 3 points at the end of the game. Now, if you were to develop it, you would flip it over and you have the same type of bonus, except for now it gives you 2 yellows and the card is worth 6 points at the end of the game. This gold card here, it costs 1 red, 1 green, and then 1 of any other type of resource. And the bonus is when you add a Lydian merchant to either a blue or a yellow gate, then you will gain a coin. This card is 3 points at the end of the game. When you develop it, you will flip it over, and now the same thing will produce 2 coins for you, and you will gain 6 points at the end of the game. Here is an example of a purple card. It costs 2 coins to buy. Most of the purple cards cost coins. The bonus is that for each Lydian merchant that you have in your bag at the end of the game, you will gain 2 points. If you were to upgrade it by paying 2 more coins, then for each Lydian merchant in your bag, you now have 4 points for each. So these purple cards can give you big points, or they also can give you no points, depending on how you play the game. Now let's take a look at your influence track. During the game, you will want to be able to get your resource token to the rightmost spot, the 6, and if you do so, you get to choose one of 2 bonuses. You can either move up 1 level on your influence track by moving this tracker over to the right. This will increase your ability to have more properties and also award you with gold and later victory points. If or when you make it to the end of that track, the stated color of resource becomes your own wild and can be used in place of any other basic resource. The other bonus option is that you can develop one of your properties without spending any of the resources to do so. So you will simply flip over a chosen card to the develop side without paying anything. Players take turns until someone develops a certain number of properties. In a 2-player game, it's 8. In a 3-player game, it's 7, and in a 4-player game, it's 6. When the game is triggered to end, all other players will take 1 more turn. The player who triggered the end of the game will also claim the fountain tile from the center of the board. This bonus tile gives that player 1 point for each leftover coin. Players will add up their score by counting victory points shown on their gray and gold cards, added to the victory points on your influence track, added to the calculated value of your purple cards, and if you have the fountain tile, you will also add the sum of the coins that you have left over. The player with the highest score wins, and songs will be sung of their greatness for generations and generations. Bellwether Games does exactly what they do best. This is just another game that is an hour or under, and it's a light to medium weight range that it explodes with tough choices. The game is designed well that you start off basically gathering or gaining resources, and as the Lydian merchants are eventually added to the fountain, more and more actions become available. The design also supports the merchants at the gates to not get crowded and cause a super huge increase of resources, because if there's 2 merchants of the same color at the gate, they will both get moved into the fountain. but you can get some great turns taking advantage of times where there are 3 or 4 merchants at the gate, and also taking advantage of your property bonus and help increase those resources. Managing your resources is also key, as you'll want to trigger the player board bonus by getting a resource to 6. It's important at first so that you can buy more properties, and then it's important later on in the game because it gives you more in-game points. The game holds true to its story because in the game, you truly want to get those coins. The coins make it so that you can play more flexible. The coins are wild and they can be substituted for anything. Also, if you triggered the end game, you get to claim that fountain token that gives you 1 extra point for each coin that you end with. And since the game is also about these coins, I like to say that these upgraded metal coins feel and look super cool. I also love the bag management aspect of the game. Each merchant has a 25% chance to be drawn each and every time. You then get to choose what color merchant gets added to your bag at the end of your turn. Do you have a ton of yellow merchant bonuses? Well, maybe you want a yellow merchant. But wait, you already have your wheat at 6, so maybe it's important that you need to focus on a different color. If you look, these properties that you could buy later in the game over here require a bunch of blue. So maybe a blue merchant might be better to add to your bag so that you can start working on the blue resources to get those cards before someone else does. I really like games like this because it's really easy to teach and explain to new players. You can start playing really quick, and the game takes only up to an hour. Yet the game includes lots of choices, meaningful choices, and since it's a tableau building game, things get bigger and better as you go. I'd like to suggest that you separate properties with ones that have been developed from ones that haven't been developed yet. This will also allow players to help determine the best move without saying, "Oh, I didn't know how close you were to triggering the end of the game." Anyways, this is a great game, and as always, Daryl Jones's art is amazing. The main board shows what it needs and in a very beautiful way and uses different angles for each corner. And the cards have just great art matching the theme. I love seeing a female on the cover of this game and the fact that the Kingdom of Lydia, which is now modern-day Western Turkey, has been found to have the oldest coins made out of electron, an alloy of gold and silver, is just awesome because the game matches the actual history. Trade your resources to gain Lydian coins in Lions of Lydia by Bellwether Games. Again, this is Boardgame Brody. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stick around and check out some other board game reviews to see what you might want to get to the table.
Queen of hand.